Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy, back with some more cool and unique camp locations for you. Starting off in the forest just down the road from where we were last week, we have a semi-trailer with a bunch of preservation shelters on it. One thing that does make these kinda cool is when you open and close the doors, they will still make all the sounds they normally would make anywhere else in the world. This first one has a first aid container in it. The next one has 3 duffel bags. And to get to the ones on the other side, you got to swap to the other side of the trailer. Because for some reason, the doors are all opening in weird spots. So 3 out of the 4 of them do have something inside. I guess all 4 would have something if you're hiding inside of it. And then, of course, we had the toolbox. And for the most part, that wraps up what you have here. But I figured this was worth showing because maybe there's something you can do with it. Nothing's really jumping to my mind right off the bat, but somebody's bound to be able to do something. You'll find this right up here. Fairly well centered in the map if that's what you're looking for. But that's going to wrap up that one. Now let's move in to Toxic Valley. Oh, Toxic Valley. Everybody loves it. Actually, it's kind of nice and bright, and your neighbors may bother you here. I can't be for certain because they're a little ways off, but your neighbors just might suck a little bit. Just a little. But we've got a couple houses at this location. Now you can't go inside of them through conventional means. But if you're crafty, you may be able to glitch your way into the houses. I can't be 100% for certain on that, but I feel like based off of how things have worked in similar type areas that I've been at, there's fairly decent odds that you can, through a little bit of determination, make your way inside the houses. Best of luck to you. But you got this first house right here, and then just off a little bit, we've got this other structure. So this may work as a spot if you're wanting to build your own little town to just already have a couple structures around to make your town look that much bigger. Because I know that's something people love to do. And for this house, I love houses with a flat roof. Actually, that building that I was on top of, that seems more like a store of some kind. But overall, it's not a horrible spot. Of course, your neighbors down at the dam may take interest in you. Maybe. You also might be lucky enough to be just out of reach. Map-wise, it's not horrible. It is keeping you more towards the center of the map, at least side to side. Now, to the ash heap. And this is a location I am really surprised you're even able to camp at. And you may be slightly crazy if you do camp here because enemies are always spawning here. Partially because inside this first building you have an overseer log. Or overseer journal log, whatever. There's tacos. Okay, there's not tacos, but I wish there was tacos. Tacos. So, many of you are probably familiar with the location. Of course, you got someone cooking in a toilet back here. Don't mind them. Alright, that's how we do things in the wasteland. We're toilet chefs. Toilet chefs. Nice. Anyways, moving on. There's a little bit of stuff you can loot from inside, I'm going to say the overseer house. But the more useful type things are going to be in the house right next door. And real quick, fair warning, when I showed up here to record, look at what was here. A legendary sheep squatch. And yep, it gave me a horrible legendary. I know. It's very disappointing. So again, you might not want to camp here. In my adventures through the wasteland, I've only seen one person camp here, ever. I will say you get a tinkerer workbench, which they've merged with a refrigerator. And it does look kind of cool. I wish we were allowed to merge things, but apparently we're not cool enough to merge items yet. And you also got your weapon workbench. So you get 2 free workbenches, enemies that want to pick on you, possible legendaries like a sheep squatch, which you would probably hate to have at your camp. But I don't know. Some people just a little bit crazy. And yeah, they're glutton for punishment. But overall, build-wise, you do have a couple houses, and it seems like a high-risk camp area to me. But if that's what you're into, you're close to a train station, and I don't know what else you can ask for. Now let's move on to a spot I'm sure you're gonna like, in the Savage Divide. And I can verify that yes, you can definitely place your camp down here, which was really surprising. But we have 3 houses with interiors loaded full of junk and other kind of stuff that you can pick up. So on the front porch of this house, we have a refrigerator. It's got, hey, some Instamash in there. Always cool getting free food. Head on to the inside. I will say that if you camp here, you may want to find a way to rig up some lighting in these houses, because they can get fairly dark. So you got a little bit of floor space that you can play around with in this first house. Of course, you got you some salt and pepper, all that good stuff. But I really like the porches for these houses. They have this nice little, oh man, I can't remember what they're actually called. Seems like a nice little garden type area. A sunroom maybe? I don't know. It's a nice room though. Now over here we do have some wood piles, because I know people love them wood piles. Absolutely love them. The one thing I do need to note about these houses is when I showed up here, they had rad roaches in them. So that's something you may have to contend with if you move here. Now, I'm not certain about what other enemies will spawn in these houses, but if it's only rad roaches, that's awesome. Eventually, maybe I can figure out what else spawns here, since my newest character just threw down a camp in this location. Overall though, I mean, you get 3 houses that you can go inside of. These nice little porches. A whole lot of potential in this build site. And then out back you actually get a little playground type area. I mean, awesome spot. Also, when I threw down my camp, I put it in the back in the playground type area to try to get my circle to get around all 3 houses. Really cool spot. If you're wanting to camp here, you'll find it right here. This one is pretty darn centered map-wise. I know it's a little bit higher, but it's a really good spot. That's all I can say. Now to the mire. So for this one and the next one, these are locations that I've shown in other videos or a different series, but they haven't been in this series yet. So I want to make sure I get these covered, get them thrown in here. This one, the main reason I'm showing it is because this is a set spawn point for bloat flies. They will always spawn here. I don't know why they like hanging out here, but they do. And I know some people have been using the bloat fly syringer to spawn more bloat flies. So you can come here, bloat fly something, bloat fly to get a bloat fly. Yeah, something like that. That was really weird to say. You should try it. Or not, because people are going to think you're completely insane and they're going to have you locked up. Fair warning, don't do it. Or maybe. So this camp location's way up here in the top right corner of the map, way out of the way. So I don't know how many people are going to want to take advantage of that, but there you have it. Now let's head down to the Cranberry Bog, to possibly one of the worst camp locations you could possibly choose out of the entire game. You would be insane to camp here. Like, lost your mind. But then again, I know some people go for the crazy person run in the game. Some people do good runs, some people do evil runs, some people just go completely insane and do crazy things. So if that's what you're into, this is definitely the camp location for you. Because you are so close to the Fisher sites in the bottom right corner of the map that you are going to be in for some trouble. And enemies spawn here. So when you're not having Scorched Beast wander over for a visit, you got your normal spawns like high-level super mutants picking on you. There is a junk extractor location here, but again, I would stay away from it. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. I cannot warn you enough to not do these things. But on the plus side, there's a chance that if someone nukes the Fisher site, you might be out of the circle. But that's going to wrap this one up. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll be back with more next week. Please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.